Hey, what's up, everybody? It's me, Danae, and I'm here with a message for you. First and foremost, hello. Second, happy fall, y'all. Third, happy Libra season. I am so sorry that I completely neglected to say those things when they were most appropriate. But yeah, happy fall. We definitely, I wasn't on the actual fall equinox on the 22nd. That was Sunday, and it just kind of slipped my mind on Monday. I just got right into it. And I also forgot to say happy birthday, Libra. So happy birthday, Libras. We love you. I love me. I absolutely love the Libra aspects in my chart. Wouldn't trade them for the world. Not for any other aspect, for sure. I'm a Libra moon and rising. I have, what else do I have? I have Pluto in Libra, and also Pluto in Libra, and also Jupiter in Sagittarius. Jupiter in Libra. Is that right? Hold on, am I mixing it up? I know I have Mercury in Sag. Right, so yeah, so I have Jupiter in Libra, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure. So I got a lot of big Venus energy and some prominent placements. Like I said, I love it. I love that balanced, harmonious aspect of myself. It's even much more prevalent than my sun sign. You know, when you encounter me, the calm and easygoingness and the strong desire to be diplomatic in most things, the tendency to play devil's advocate and weigh all possibilities and scales that sometimes works for me and against me. I love it all, and I love you all. Oh man, yep. So anyway, yeah, I hope you're enjoying your birthday season and that you enjoy your birthday season. If it is your birthday today, by God, happy birthday. And yeah, we about to just ride this wave and really, get intimate in the intentions of our partnerships and our connections and commitments and even contracts on a professional and creative sense, but intimacy all around, I would say, and really filtering out impurities from those dynamics for the best, for the greatest good of all, so that there's harmony and balance on both sides of the scales, particularly within ourselves, as we, seek to attract that reality toward us, or that essence to ourselves, or for ourselves. Yeah, and of course, it's about cuffing season, it's about that time. Not quite too chilly yet, but the vibes are in the air, so, but it all starts from within first and foremost. So if we're creating that balance for ourselves, then it's inevitable that we would attract that to ourselves, or otherwise resist or what's the word I'm looking for? Reject anything that isn't aligned in that regard, right? Hopefully so. So anyway, let's see what we got here today. Jeez Louise, the Ten of Wands. I'm sorry, the Ten of Swords. Well, it's the end of some imbalance, of some. My nose is itching like crazy. The end of some betrayal, or certainly some unsavory, unfavorable season with some really tragic, or at least I would say a variance of problematic events at the very least. Let's see what we got under here. I mean, it's the 10, so it's over. Whatever it was is behind this present moment for the most part, unless it's something you can't release or let go of. But let's see what we got. Oh, the King of Swords. Wow. So betrayal, like, of the King of Swords. What? Like this King of Swords got backdoored. Yeah, with the Four of Wands. It's like there's this offer here. Let me see. And then here's the Strength. Oh, yeah. Dang. With these two? Oh, hell no. I don't even know if I want to keep this on the board. But yeah, it's given corrupt, it's given collusion, it's given it's definitely given you thought you had a friend or friends and you did not. There was like a plot behind the scenes to offer this King of Swords something that ultimately, but this is the Four of Cups, so it could be that, I don't know. It bothers me that the Ten of Swords is out here first, which feels like somebody maybe in there resisted their will. There it is, man. So somebody resisted the will to reject an offer or to resist. There it is, like some type of temptation. Like, this is what they should have done. It said, no, thank you. And, even if they weren't ready to receive this, it's like somebody, yeah, that's what this is. Somebody actually rejected their own personal intuition. And when they did that, they lowered their defenses to an attack and to some type of like either ambush or some type of, yeah, just really like a betrayal. This could have been poison in that Knight of Cups cup. Where somebody, golly, you walk into a party, the King of Swords, and walk out flat on, or end up flat on your back at the 10. That's wild. It was something that, it could have been something that somebody took, or something that somebody, or some circumstances that someone was lured into, because it may not have actually been a substance. It could even just be someone accepting an invitation or an offer that put them in a very vulnerable situation. And ultimately, it either lowered their defenses or their senses, maybe even lowered their their, what's the word, like their judgment. And I don't know what necessarily happened in between the King of Swords and the upright and the Ten of Swords, but whatever it was that was accepted in this cup, in this offer, that should have been rejected, it was strong. And it was, it literally could have been somebody's drink being spiked. If we're talking about in the practical sense, it's like somebody had a nudge that they shouldn't go to a party and they went anyway. You know, like, but they really didn't want to go. Like their better judgment was saying like, nah, I don't think I should go to that. I don't, you know, it's probably not a good idea. It's not, I'm not in the right, you know, either they just literally didn't feel like it or whatever that nudge is that tells you like, no, this just doesn't feel right. Matter of fact, I was watching this video. I may even post it too. I was supposed to post something else of the same content creator. She does like compilations of like different TikTok videos. It's sometimes like kind of spooky stuff or just strange stuff. But there was something I was supposed to post yesterday. I have to go back and see because sometimes I like to post things that come up after I've already posted my message that have some type of, you know, synergy or significance. And it was something that I came across. I'm not even following her, but sometimes her videos pop up. And something I came across that I was supposed to post. Dang, I want to say it might have been about like energy. Hold on, I could actually look it up, but I mean, it doesn't really matter to you, I don't think. But anyway, the most recent thing that I was watching of hers, of a post that she made was about times when you're like following your intuition, like virtually like saved your life. You know what I mean? Like where you could have ultimately fallen victim, pardon me, to ignoring that little nudge, that little niggle, as they say, but you didn't, and therefore, you know, it worked out for the best for you. Hold on, I'm seeing it. Yeah, Crazy Intuition Stories is one of the ones that I watched. Oh, that's what I was supposed to post. This one that I watched about spiritual possession. And I am gonna post that. I'm gonna post that before I post this video, so you'll see that on the community tab. But then I watched something about, Crazy Intuition Stories or whatever, which was good also. And anyway, all that to say, I'll probably post that after I post this message, more than likely tomorrow or something. But whenever I post something, I always tag the corresponding reading in the comments or pin it in the comments, just the FYI. So go check out the community tab because sometimes it'd be some interesting stuff other than music. I used to post a lot of music that would be channeled in the message and then link the reading, but sometimes it's other stuff. These days it's kind of like a hodgepodge of a couple of things, and sometimes even other readers' messages that I watch after I post mine, and I'm like, oh shoot, I literally just said that, and it, you know, it just goes together quite well. But anyway, I digress. This is someone that didn't listen to that intuition, and instead of having the story to tell about their triumph and their, you know, their saved in the nick of time type of, or saved by the grace of God type of moment, it's like they rejected it, they ignored it, and they literally went in for the kill. It feels like if somebody isn't actually, you know, they are definitely in bad shape or were in bad shape on account of whatever this was, a party, a gathering, a meetup, a reunion, a date, a rendezvous, a ponderosa, um, meet up at I don't know, like it seems more like it was an invitation in one regard that was quite alluring with the Knight of Cups, something that was tempting or enticing for the King of Swords to be in agreement with it. It had to be pretty enticing for someone to override their logical mind for something else. So it might have had something to do with, the strength card. Leo energy could have been of some sensual or sexual enticement or nature, like it's some girls there or some guys there or something enticing here that got somebody hemmed up ultimately. Damn. All right, let's see what else we got here. I could never control the messages. But by God, sometimes, well, here is that. Some type of plot, scheme, a lot of three-party energy here between the Three of Cups that we saw, the Four of Cups, which is somebody with their eye on the Three of Cups. So this could have been somebody that thought they had it under control. They may have even had an idea that, this is somebody that thought they had their defenses covered or had a greater security detail than they actually did. They felt like, they're like, I got this, you know what I mean? Like they still may have been reluctant to accept the invitation, but for whatever reason, they felt like either the threat of not going was greater than the precaution, or it simply put was somebody's fear of missing out, straight up FOMO, or curiosity that made them go, thinking that if they souped themselves up with some heightened level of security or somebody just being on high alert, like I got this, I'm gonna watch everything, I'm watching everybody, I'm seeing how you moving, like if you really are that much on alert, I don't know how the hell you get so comfortable to end up accepting a drink, you know what I'm saying, that could ultimately put you out, or anything, putting yourself in any type of position that could put you out. But it just probably just goes to show that no matter what, it was dangerous territory. Like he couldn't have been more alert and on guard, because just the sheer choice to step into a space was already the demise. So let that be a cautionary tale, to think that, and I'm sensing this on different levels, but particularly if we're talking about your personal, like your physical security and well-being. Like you'll see if you check out the stories, and I'll probably actually tag it and pin it in the comments as well too. But some of the stories, one of them in particular was a girl who she was in college, and all her friends, she was actually a sorority girl, because I thought it was interesting that she kept saying my line sisters and my pro fights, right? And not a lot of people use that language, for more of a broad platform as like TikTok. You would just say like my sorority sisters or my big, you know what I mean? So it was kind of interesting that she was using some really technical terms for sorority life that everybody wouldn't necessarily know. Like it's kind of, if you know type of situation. But anyway, she said that everybody was going to this Halloween party. Interesting enough, we're about to hit Halloween. So this could be literally a cautionary tale. And for some reason, she opted, instead of riding, carpooling with everyone else, she opted to drive herself in her own car, because she didn't want to have to, be responsible for bringing anybody else home, and she wanted to leave when she was ready. fast forward, by the time everybody was ready to roll out, she was still behind, lingering behind, and wasn't ready to go out, wasn't ready to hit the door yet. And then as she gets in the car, so she says, she just had this sudden feeling that she didn't want to go anymore. Like, she was already dressed, makeup was done, hair was done, you know, literally in the car, ready to pull off, and something was just like, I don't want to go anymore. So instead of her fighting that feeling, which you know would be hard, even as she said, you know, as a female, once your hair is done, your makeup is done, and you went through all the trouble, it's like, well, I'm at least go show face, you know. But she listened to herself, or just, I guess, just surrendered to the feeling. She went back in, took all her makeup off, took her clothes off, chilled. Another friend or another came over that also didn't go to the party, and they just kind of like chilled inside, ate whatever she said they did inside. And then she said 2 hours later, they find out that the party got shot up. And I think the number that she gave was either like 2 or up to 4 people had passed away, and some double digit number, I want to say like 12 people or so. I might be off on this number, but a greater number of folks got injured. Now imagine that. And she said none of her people were hurt, thank God. None of them that she was going with or going to meet up with. But it's just a sheer fact, like, who knows where she could have been in the party at that particular time. And as she also said, that who knows if that just the trauma alone wouldn't have kind of made an impression on her that would have been more lingering than even actually being injured, you know what I mean? Let alone actually being unalived, you know? So yeah, it's like stories like that on there. And so this is what I'm saying. It's like somebody couldn't resist they obviously prioritized this crowd mentality or group mentality or whatever it is that they valued about this gathering, or this outing, or whatever the freak it is. They prioritize that over their better judgment, maybe perhaps even over their intuition. And you know, here's the Three of Pentacles, where it goes from Three of Cups, everybody's having a grand time, to there being, this could even have been before. I just heard like the pregame. Damn. So like the collusion and the plan and plot before as to how to get someone to, you know, to come in, or to get someone entrapped in whatever this was, in just the right form to attack, you know. And this, like, again, this doesn't have to be an event or even one particular situation. It actually could be an extended agenda, a long con or a long-term agenda that ultimately baited someone in. That's what I'm feeling more than anything. It's coming out as a party, but with the Ten of Swords, that's why I was like, damn, to go from the King to the Ten of Swords, this could have been a long track of collusion that was going on behind someone's back, that they thought they were on top of or even ahead of the game. Like the King of Swords is smart, so this could have been somebody that thought they was the smartest one on the team or in the room at any given time. And it just, oh man, let's say, wow, with the King of Pentacles, like I said, this was some type of collusion to either to rob somebody or to depreciate someone's value, or somehow monopolize it for whatever their agenda was, here with the Three of Pentacles. Like, this is the part you gonna play. This is what they talking about. All right, this, you gonna do this. And, you know, it could be a matter of like a whole group of people that are literally producing a reality for this purpose of this corrupted agenda, you know, like to strip somebody down, you know, to gain something of value. It may not be money, but there's something that is objectified that this person possesses or embodies in some way, shape, or form that was preyed on. And I don't mean preyed on in a good way. Wow. Oh. All right, is that right now? Let's see. Wow, okay. Now we got the Page of Cups. So this could even be flattery. But it's given more, let's see. So, like I was saying, it's like at the core of it, it's like somebody played on someone's, how can I say this? Like their desperation. Remember I said FOMO, like their desperation to be a part of the crew. Like at the at face value, this might be somebody that appeared to be a King of Swords, but this is like their psychological makeup. That somebody, oh, this is deep and wretched. That somebody played on someone's sensitivity to be included and accepted, and also played on their insecurity of not experiencing those things, to be left out or rejected, that four of cups energy, to be singled out, to be left out, rejected, put down, or what's the right word, like what's the right word, what's the right term, like to be put down is not the word, what's the word, you know, like criticized. Yeah, something about criticism is what I'm feeling here. Like played on somebody's broken inner child is what they ultimately did, and that's how their senses were lowered, their defenses were lowered, because they played on all the most vulnerable aspects of this person, the things that they loved the most, the things they were most vulnerable to, weakest to, most naive about, perhaps, you know, like every angle that they could exploit of someone's innocence. Innocence, like they're, but you know, like the part of you that is innocent that is also vulnerable, you know, that's what someone exploited until there was trust enough or defenselessness enough to forge some attack, you know, or like, and this could even have been some type of mental manipulation with the 10, yeah, like mind fuckery with the 10 of Swords, and also emotional manipulation with the Page of Cups. But it was all for profit though. With this 3 of Pentacles, there was always a plan in place as to how to monetize off of whomever this is presence. And they're all fighting over it now. The plan, it could have been a backfire in the plan, or fighting over what assets have been gleaned from this heist, you know, like fighting over whatever was lifted, from this corrupt agenda, the whole no honor among thieves theory, which is truth, because they were as good as allies to carry out this plan, but good as enemies now that either the plan is complete or the plan, perhaps may not have quite yielded what was anticipated, which is what usually happens in the grand scheme of things. Even if they may have laid someone out to rest, it could still be, that could be the contemplation here with the Three of Pentacles, like not quite making good on the projection. It could have been, maybe it was supposed to be a job that yielded so-and-so, but now it's only the 3, or nothing at all, maybe even. Or certainly not enough to split between 5. This is like more people than funds, or more people that are somehow feeling entitled to some claim in whatever has been acquired because of either their participation in it, or maybe even just, because of their knowledge of it, some type of added intricacy to what was already chaotic to some degree, or at the core anyway, is raising the degree of difficulty to settle up. It's like hella people now got their hand out. Well, like, I did this for you, you owe me. Oh, yeah, here's the strength again. That's interesting. What's the strength about? That's the willpower that someone was supposed to be firm on. Wow, and the Emperor, yeah, like this is the control factor. Hold on, let me get another one. Remember that the Emperor is here, because I'm just wondering now. Is this a plan that didn't go right? Because I brought that into the chat, just a second ago, where what they were anticipating to have happen or to yield may not have been, and that's the reason for the 5 of Swords. Because maybe someone was more firm on their, like more firm in their focus than what was anticipated. Like maybe somebody thought that they were going to be able to manipulate someone from a more vulnerable state and entice them in or lure them into something that would have caused this demise. Let me see what's under here. That might tell me more. What's under this 10 of Swords? I need to know, did that go down, or was that just the intention? With the implication of these the Hierophant, sometimes that's secret society energy or coven energy. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like somebody was put up, was put up to be sacrificed. But let me see. With the Page of Swords, yeah, I think it may have been successful. that there was an order to, like, this was the and with that, coming off of the Emperor card, that there was some order for this, let's say assassination or elimination, but it ultimately reads sacrifice between the Ten of Swords and the Hierophant. Like maybe someone needed to be eliminated for some reason, because that's the tangibility with the King of Pentacles. That's the value that someone was revered to have. So someone was always like the target of some type of and I did not just say, God dang, I was just saying that I thought it was interesting that, okay, so here we go. So this is someone, all right, give me a second. It is some type of secret society or organization or brotherhood. Remember, I was telling the story about the girl, and I said she was saying a lot of very technical sorority terms that usually wouldn't say to general, people that aren't directly connected to that world or that life. So this could have been someone that was always identified. Okay, so I don't know. This was someone that had pledged themselves to an organization, okay? Or they were in the process of pledging, but I feel like this is someone, especially at the King of Swords, that not only had become a member, but maybe had even gained some traction and leadership, or at least notoriety within this organization, right? But somewhere along the way, now I did say that this feels like somebody was always going to be a target and was always kind of identified and objectified for some, some distinct reason, like although someone maybe was allowed to join or was initiated into this organization, sideline, maybe a collusion within the organization, like a smaller pocket of folks, or generally speaking, somebody was always kind of had a target on their back to some degree. Like, we just want to get as much as we can out of him. And then, at the perfect moment or perfect time that we can, shank his ass one way or another, we gonna take it, you know what I mean? So that's what I'm seeing here, because this is like the leader of the organization, and this is the Page of Swords, which also is given like deference type of vibes, like someone that is of a lower rank than, who they may submit to or surrender to. So also spy energy. So I don't know if this in fact is some aspect of the King of Swords who may have kind of been demoted at one point in time. That's what I'm getting, that they had reached a certain high level of esteem and rank within the organization, but somewhere, remember, I was like, I don't know what happened as to why this is necessary. Like I said, it could have either been somebody was always kind of being set up to be a fall guy, or set up to be kind of a sacrifice till at the point that they were no longer useful, or something happened over time where someone became disposable because of something. They weren't able to deliver on something. They didn't yield the value that they, were originally initiated on, whatever. But that's the part that played on the person's psyche, because they worked so hard to be a part. Remember, I said FOMO. They worked so hard to be a part of this organization. Like, who knows? I mean, if being a part of a Greek letter organization has its trials and tribulations, so to speak. So who knows, a secret society that's completely off the radar, or a brotherhood that's completely like underworld. Who knows what the hell people have you doing just to be a part, you know? So this was somebody, not to mention, like I said, those underlining insecurities about being rejected, about being left out, being passed over, or, you know, being criticized, or whatever the case, whatever the hangups were. It's like that's what lured somebody back into the fold, whereas they may have had an out or had been kicked out at some point in time. It feels like they may have like almost, you know, kind of crawled their way back into the fold to be reconsidered or accepted again, or reinstated or something, I don't know, because the sheer, pardon me, feeling of rejection was killing them more than what ultimately was more of a threat being a part of this organization, because it feels like someone is privy enough to know. Remember, I said it's like somebody was aware of what they were dealing with, but they thought that they could outsmart it or outrank it, or, you know, be on top of it. And it's like when you're on the inner sanctum of a society, you know what it's capable of because you've seen what it probably has done to other people. So that could have been it too, that somebody was afraid more to be an enemy of the organization or an outsider than to just kind of deal with the stress of being on the inside. But also someone really wanted to be on the inside, perhaps for the access, the notoriety, the influence, the protection, the benefits, whatever they felt they were gaining. They prioritized that over their intuition, and perhaps moments when the divine opened the door for them to exit effectively, even perhaps through the rejection, might have been the protection itself that they declined and decided that it was imperative that they be a part. So it feels like somebody, you know, may have, for whatever reason, I don't know why they became disassociated or somehow disposable. There's something that must have been a disappointment or something devalued about their presence, where they would feel like they need to come crawling back, almost groveling like a damn kid with the Page of Cups, like almost begging or apologizing to be reinstated or accepted again. And that is the moment when this person became completely defenseless and vulnerable to attacks on a much more tragic scale, because they were pretty much willing to surrender to anything, any circumstances at that point, maybe even willing to kind of sell their souls a little bit or negotiate a price just to be reinstated or accepted. And so I feel like it could have been a little bit of the fact that someone's desperation could have been a turnoff, or an intrigue as to some degree to just use them up again for whatever you could get out of him, until ultimately he would be discarded and sacrificed, because you can't really have someone that is so weak, quote unquote, this is what I'm channeling now, that holds all the secrets of the inner sanctum, just walking around willy-nilly now, can you? You know, you kind of have to eliminate that threat to the secret order, because he's literally carrying a sword, the King of Swords. Like at some point in time, he may have evolved or advanced in the ranks. He's not. Oh, the Emperor did come up, though. That's the thing. The Emperor did come up. Yes, he did. So this is someone that had way too much information, that saw too much, that has a great deal of influence himself, enough to be a threat to whatever this is, and ultimately needed to be eliminated. Yeah. So much for, well, let's see what's on the other end of this Hierophant. Because I feel like this is the order that the Hierophant, that the Hierophant decreed, like, you know, off with his head type of energy. It was, and what, right up under the Ten of Swords, like it came from a higher authority, the orders for someone's elimination. Child. Hold on though, hold on, because I'm gonna tell you something. Yeah, I was just about to say it too. Because I'm gonna tell you something. If this has anything to do with Diddy, i.e. the nine of swords right here, that's not gonna go the way that it's anticipated. Because if that's the big plan, you know, at least I don't think so. I could be wrong, and maybe that is his fate, but I don't think that plan to eliminate him before, you know, this all gets even more out of hand than it already is. I mean, they've already kind of done their due diligence to trash his character at this point, and have seized the legacy that, you know, is legally attached to him, you know, and he, before he ever get his hands on that, he pretty much will be in debt with legal fees, you know what I mean, before he could ever recoup anything, if he was actually found completely spotless. So they've done what they set out to do. But if there is any intention to do that, I don't think it's going to go down the way that they think, because there's something that this situation is being purposed for from a higher authority than just some secret order run by man. This is a higher authority at work beyond the pay grades and the power orders of, you know, these influential figures, so they think, and so to speak. There's a greater work to be done here. And I don't think, you know, even if he wants to go somewhere himself, I don't know. I don't necessarily know. I would be surprised, I'll say, to know that that was the story, that he was actually successful in taking himself out, which I honestly think he's too egotistical to do, which is also working in the favor of the greater good here, like I said. But I don't even think he would do that. So if it were to kind of be shaped to look like that, or if there was an attempt, remember I was kind of like funny on like, is this what they want it to be? But it didn't quite work out, because like I said, there's that Five of Wands energy, which just could be the energy behind the scenes connected to this story specifically, of people kind of trying to get their stories together, and oh, I did this, or I wasn't there on that date, or I didn't go to that party, and you know, people even their own inner conflict and the anxiety of what could be impending the longer this lingers, you know, and social and mainstream media, you know. But here it is, the Four of Cups. Is there something that this is him again, not, now I'm seeing like not taking that cup, maybe not, well, we already know he's pretty much deciding not to take a deal. He's pled innocent, but this could be whatever. If this is some attempt to eliminate him, this could be his refusal to take the bait. Maybe already so, and that's partially why it's all come to this in some way, shape, or form. Like I said before, like Diddy is different. And there's more on that I have to share. I'm just dealing with how I get to express it in the most effective way. But there's something deeper that I feel gets to be expressed on this that I have the privilege and the misfortune to be privy to in spirit and in truth. But later on that, but that's partially why I feel like what may be intended as, you know, a sinister plot to Epstein him, allegedly, so to speak, if that even is what, you know what I'm saying, like stage it to look like a thing that, you know, allegedly. I don't know if it's going down like that. Look, Three of Swords, like, yeah, probably try to give him something to induce some type of like heart failure or even psychosis, have him really up out of his mind or something. You know, this literally could be an attack or an attempted attack on his life. But let me get a few more. What's that? Wow. I don't know if you saw that, but my finger kind of hit the card and I just want to see the Justice card. I feel like I honestly, I'm not gonna lie, if what is said is true and what I sense is true, death would almost be too graceful, you know, for someone to just be able to check out so easily before facing, you know, justice. And also, I feel like I said, there's spiritual justice at work here. So it's not even just a matter of, no, he need to do his time, he need to suffer, nothing like that. But it's just so much to be rectified in this situation. Like, it's deeper than what they even know probably at this point to report on, or deeper than what they can report on that would even make sense. Like, this is something spiritual. Like, I'm not talking about secret society shit for no reason. It's something much deeper and more sinister going on at the core, like the underbelly of all of this, that the media may not even be privy to. And if they are, like I said, that's not the sensationalism of the story that they would really want to sell. They can sell all the things that are practical that people can, you know, really kind of digest and be fascinated with. But when you start talking about what's really going on in the dark, secret rituals and practices and webs of powerful people, influential people that are all intertwined in this mess one way or another. And also how those webs and those tentacles stretch even down to the little people. That's what you don't know. You might even be one of them. Side note, of the little people that are entangled in this weave, that some of which don't know that they are, and some of which that do, and haven't really had the voice to speak on their experiences. That's the greater work that must be judged and justified appropriately, properly, beyond all of this circus mess of, what the core of what the justice system is really after and all this, because let's be honest, who really knows, you know? But there's a greater work that's being accomplished here that I feel like those that think they got their finger on the pulse of what gets to happen to him next are not really in charge of that, because until the divine until divine justice is served, if it's not in the order for and if this person is an intricate player in all of that, which he very well may be, ain't nobody taking him out, ain't nobody going to do him nothing, but his due process, until the divine says, you have fulfilled your cause, your not your, like, fulfilled your purpose. There it is, your purpose. Let me get a few more. So that makes a lot of sense now that I'm seeing this, and the Lord knows I don't want Diddy to be infiltrating every single one of, yeah, but look at this though. And that, I'm gonna take that in reverse. It's too much of a struggle. Child. This has a deeper meaning than I can even get into right now. But let's say, generally speaking, like, these are the feminine energies, and the masculines too, that were more or less imprisoned, the ones that truly were victimized. Like, some people were just complicit in the festivities, and they were having a grand old time until they weren't, particularly now when it's public knowledge, it ain't fun no more. But there are some that didn't sign up for that, and they didn't agree to it, and they may have outright, declined or rejected the advances, or the implication of corruption that they ultimately incurred, or being a casualty of it. And this is the Eight of Swords, like, no longer bound, no longer, this is the intention for those that have been almost like confined in a living like in imprisonment, to be released finally. And a lot of that may be contingent on, and this is the transfer of energy here, that as they're being released, or as he went in, as a matter of fact, others are being released or have been released. And it could even just be energetically, it's probably like a big woo-sah across the world of those that have been living in fear on account of what retaliation they could incur if they ever spoke, or what could happen to their family or their livelihood if they didn't go along to get along, or just forget about it even, or if they ever decided to fight back. And now the fact that he is where he is actually bringing a great deal of liberation to many, in some ways, even to those that may be somewhat incriminated, to perhaps at least be able to kind of like release the pressure of the secrets, and the anxiety of the what if, or what happens when somebody finds out, or if those tapes ever get revealed. Like, although it could be excruciating for some that get exposed throughout that process, at least it will be I think it could relieve a lot of pressure, especially if there's nothing that particularly criminal that some people are doing. Maybe just being exposed might not be favorable, but at least now you could be free to live your truth, whatever that may be. So it could be that on the inside, but it could also be those that were pulled into the inside, or that were on the outside altogether but still affected, where this is the Eight of Swords in reverse. There is a liberation here that's happening, and that must be a process that is completed before anybody's going to relieve themselves. Three of Cups, there's a celebration, and this is a good energy in this regard. Of being released, of being uncaged. Some and just being able to tell their story, like to take the gag off of their mouths and to finally be able to speak freely without fear of harm or retaliation. He ain't the only one, as we know, but he's not the only one within his story and outside of it. And it's happening on a scale that we can visibly, that we can visibly see, celebrity level, and it's happening on an everyday level. Nobody is immune, nobody is exempt, and nobody but the righteous, the truly innocent, is safe. And it's like, this energy's here to collect, because it's owed something for all of this debauchery that it was funding. People climbing the ladder, getting richer and richer and more powerful, and using that power to manipulate and abuse others and things like that. It's like, you had the liberty to do all that, but it wasn't without a cost, and it wasn't without some very stringent terms. And now some people are not in the position to make good on those terms, i.e. those sacrifices, i.e. feeding those energies, those souls that they desecrate into this organism to satisfy this hunger and this thirst. They don't have the access, the power, the resources, the liberty, literally the liberty to still do that anymore. So it's like I said, like, it's being used for more than just to humiliate Diddy and put him in his place for once and for all, even if that be in a jail cell for however many years of his life. It's also being used to tear down the establishment that created him, and not just the individuals, but even the consciousness, the entity, the principalities that created Diddy to be the organism that he is, and also how he then paid it forward, unfortunately, and created other energies in that same frequency. All of that has to be justified before anybody is going anywhere, try as they may. Like, there will be retribution on account of this persecution and or prosecution across the board, from the top down, the inside out, left to right, 360, like every which way you can think about it. Like, this is what this is for, because it's happening in the ways that we can see, and like I said, in the ways that you would have no idea it's occurring, and that all has to be cleansed. It will be cleansed. Yeah, look at this, Two of Swords, and the energies that were once victim to it, masculine or feminine, the innocence is protected, it's guarded, it's blocked, it can no longer be affected. It's like this diabolical force is not here to collect off of the innocents anymore. Oh no. It has a much bigger tab to settle at this point. And it's going to get what it's owed. But it's for those that have been spotless in this for the most part, they've been exonerated and released from this entanglement. It's time for those that, for some to pay that karmic debt, that karmic tab that they've been running up. Now it's time to finally cash out. And that's what we're seeing. Wow, Magician. Yep, for all the trickery, all the manipulation, all the spell work, all the rituals, all the sacrifices, unjustifiably, diabolically, that were made, that they were empowered to do. And in an illusionary sense, because it was all for the purpose of entanglement, which is the gotcha, like how I started this, where I said it was like somebody kind of had their eye on a target. At some point, they became a mark and they were going to get used up for whatever they could get out of them and then discard it. Well, that's what this energy does. That you are identified as a prime target, and it will keep you in illusions, thinking that you're winning and thinking that you're really doing something and a part of something good or grand, I should say, for as long as it needs to get you just as entrapped, to get you entrapped enough to the point of you almost feeling like you have there's no release, there's no exit, there's no way to turn around, which there always is, but that's the illusion. Just like I said with somebody here, where they probably had their ejection from this organization, and instead of them taking that, they looked back and felt like, but I gained so much, I had so much access, I had so much power, so much money, so much authority, so much, all the tangible things that they were using to fuel their self-esteem, that to nurture that broken little boy or girl within them is what they clung to. And it was always fleeting anyway. It was nothing that was ever, sustainable for the long run. It was always temporary. But that's what they prioritized. And then when their debt became, too high for it to be repaid, because they ultimately depleted themselves to the point of bankruptcy, energetic bankruptcy, then it's just like, now you stuck. Now you caught up. You trapped, entangled with the devil. And it seems like it really does seem like you have no choice or no way out, when once upon a time you absolutely did. You just thought that you didn't. You didn't want to accept the possibility of turning from your wicked ways, so to speak, and doing something more upright, more honorable and honest, because, oh no, that was just too much of a sacrifice to give up everything that you could acquire so quickly and so, powerfully, with no guarantee. But now people are realizing that was never a guarantee. It was just an illusion. It was just temporary. It was like leasing a life, like taking out a life on loan. You know what I mean? It was never really theirs. The power, the money, the influence, it was all borrowed credit. And now people are having to pay it back. And they don't really have the energy, really, because they haven't spent their time building themselves from the inside out. Everything's been on the outside in. And so they don't really have the groundedness to really sustain themselves through the real trial and tribulation of liberating yourself from this dark force, which takes a great deal of energy, the strongest that you can muster up. You need that to really face your own inner demons and overcome them, accept them in some ways and overcome them in others. It takes a lot, and some people just don't even have the energy anymore, which is why they rather kind of check out than carry on, because it seems too much to bear. But like I said, I just don't think everyone is going to have that luxury, and certainly not the ones that the divine has a purpose for, whatever that purpose may be. Wow, Ace of Swords, which is not for any man to dictate at this point, not in a judgment season. Wow. The Emperor, the Ace of Swords, like nobody is going to trump the ultimate truth, the divine truth. I don't care how high in power, authority you may be. It's never going to take precedence, literally precedence, over divine order. So until all is clear, all has been revealed and properly judged and rectified, and everyone, like I said, from the top down has been exposed, whether it be a public exposure or whether it literally just be an addressing down in their own personal life, even to themselves. So like, no, you're not going to hide behind your influence and your power and your assets or your access. You won't be able to hide behind that. You're going to have to face the truth of who you've been on the inside now. And that'll make the toughest grown man cry. That's not really like regress into this childhood this wounded child energy before he can build himself back up to some strong leader or dominant force of any sort, because that's what really makes a leader anyway. All the robes and the bells and whistles and the productions of the sort are nothing. It's the ones that have found their healing at their core and built themselves from that centric point from on a soul level that are really powerful, that are unstoppable, that are, commanders and chiefs of their own lives and don't need to be in control of nobody else's to feel important. Those are the real kings and queens. And that's where the transfer of power is shifting to. Because those are the ones that can lead with integrity and in love, because they have integrity for themselves and they love themselves. So that projects from the inside out. Everything else, that fear aspect and all the densities that come with, this lower nature, that has its place, no doubt, but not an imbalance, and not exclusively so. But everything that comes with that is now being challenged and charged to, here it is, as I said in the beginning, find its balance, to find its partner, its light aspect, its higher mind, its higher frequency, so that that scale can truly be leveled out, and you can be operating from all polarities and dualities of existence holistically. Because it's dangerous for anybody to be operating in one exclusively over the other. Either one is detached when it's exclusively spiritual, and it's dependent when it's exclusively carnal. So, and the charge and challenge to make that shift to balance the scales is not easy. It's not for the faint of heart, that's for sure. Literally, as we saw that Three of Swords, especially not now, because everybody had the same invitation, but everybody didn't accept it. So now the stakes are higher, the odds are stacked, and there's less support and grace and even tolerance for stumbling over yourself to get to where you ultimately need to be now to actually survive, let alone to thrive. That's a whole nother threshold to cross. Now people are trying to figure out just how to level out. And it's certainly it's no cakewalk. It's not. But for those that have a purpose still, and Lord willing, still have the willpower to surrender to it, as painful as it may seem or feel, or uncomfortable as it may feel at first, I believe that there'll be there's a dispensation of grace for those to carry on. It doesn't mean it'll be easy, but I believe that there will at least be a possibility to come out on the other side even better than what you were idealizing before you went in. For people to really cultivate their truth, in the purest form of what they were ultimately after anyway, but just the means and the methods were corrupted. So now to purify all that, cleanse it all, maybe start off, on a better foot is most ideal, and is possible. But for those that insist on, continuing on that bad foot, no matter how how hurt, it got gout now, is ingrown toenails, calluses, bunions, corns, like that bad foot is struggling, and some people are still trying to get off on it. And it may come down to amputation before some learn, I don't know, but either way, nobody is going to continue to thrive in corruption in the way that was done so easily, seemingly so easily before. That day is done. So I'm gonna leave it here. Thank you for listening and watching. Until next time, as always, I'll leave you with peace.